Good stuff. And our week hanging with the champ includes him hanging in our ESPN pit studio before today's race. Jimmie Johnson, welcome. Obviously, always a big week. This the fundraiser for your charity and going home and seeing that money put to work. How's it all been for you?
It's been great. As you can see, we clearly had a lot of fun through it all. So. But yeah. I just can't thank Lowe's enough for sponsoring, being my sponsor, and all the amazing things that they do, giving us a chance to put our name on the side of the car this weekend. The drivers that came out and participated at the golf tournament, everyone that donated and got involved, it was a great event for us. We raised around $525,000 that will all go back into educational grants. Ton of money, and just so proud to be a part of the Toolbox Champions program that Lowe's is doing on a national platform, and we're doing it in the areas where my wife and I grew up and where we live in Charlotte. That's
really cool. Talk to you about the race. First of all, you took the championship lead last week at Kansas. Did it change anything for you?
You know, we're happy to be there, for sure. We're happy to be on top. Again, though, there's still so much racing left, and there's Talladega out there. So we've done a good job at this point. I still wish I could have back Loudon, and I hope that doesn't come to bite me. Every point seems to be so important right now. But we'll just race hard today and see what happens.
Jimmie, we've been seeing a lot of these guys beating and banging, boys have it, all that type of stuff. Are you concerned right now, since you're the points leader and this championship is so tight, how these other guys are going to race you?
Not at all. It is business as usual on the racetrack. I know that there are moments that draw a lot of attention to them, but it's the same environment that went on the racetrack 60 years ago. How long have you been retired? 5 years ago?
That was funny. I think that was funny.
Either way, it's the same environment that it's always been on the racetrack. You race 5 years ago. You race people how they race you, bottom line.
So do you think there should be any type of unwritten rule when it comes to chasers versus non-chasers, as we saw with the Kyle Busch, David Rubin?
No. I mean, it's none of us really know what led to that moment except those two drivers. And I've heard Tony Stewart mention that over the years, and he's right. Those two guys know what's been going on. End of story. And I also liked your point earlier when I was watching the show. The guy trying to stay in the top 35 has just as much on the line as the guy racing for the championship. So we can all exist out there together on the racetrack, and the way we act at times certainly keeps everyone entertained and gives us something to talk about.
Sure, gave us a lot to talk about. This race today, you start 8th. Obviously, you've won this race the last 3 years. You've won 3 of the last 4 here. After you finished practice Saturday, how do you feel about today?
I feel okay. You know, the cars were really out of the track yesterday. I noticed a lot of guys sliding around, and the first practice wasn't exactly what we wanted, but we got on track on the second practice, and we'll see. I mean, this year, more than any other year I've been in the sport, you just don't know how good your car is going to race. You make it comfortable, you're about 2 to 3 tenths off, but you have the feeling as a driver that you want. Well, then you got to start loosening the car up and make it, to make it very uncomfortable, and that's where you're rewarded with lap time. So luckily we've got a good starting position, and I like the direction we've gone with the car. As long as we can keep it up front and out of the dirty air, I think we'll be fine.
Interesting stuff. And by the way, with the foundation paint scheme on the car and the Helmet of Hope program you've had, you're undefeated at this track when you've run it. So
I know that in the back of my mind. I'm hoping we can fall back into that routine again.
All right, Jimmie, thanks for the time all week long, and thanks for stopping by before the race today. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Jimmie Johnson, the 4-time defending champion, chasing that trophy for a 5th consecutive year. And again, he lines up in the number 8 spot on the grid for today's race.